What up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. I'm Anthony TV. Look, do me a favor, guys. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for me, man. Like this video and drop a comment if you got a comment. You already know I appreciate your support. Hey, look, guys, check this out. I want to say thank you to all of my supporters out there, all of my subscribers, man. We surpassed another milestone yesterday, surpassed 5,000 subscribers, so I appreciate you guys. Look, we're going to continue to keep growing, continue to keep learning, and I'm just going to continue to keep adding value to you guys, man. That's the name of the game, and that's what my channel is all about. I hope you guys are getting something from the content. With all that being said, today I got another video for you. I want to talk about some of the advantages of going over the road. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there, you got into trucking to stay local, to be home every night with your families, and over the road may not be for you. I get it, because it's not for me, right? And I've expressed that in several videos. However, over the road may be a good fit for some individuals out there who are new to trucking, just got your CDL license, and you want to see what over the road is all about. In my personal opinion, when it comes to over the road, I really believe that it's an opportunity for you to experience some things that you may or may not experience as a local truck driver, at least in the short term. There's some things that you may learn over time in local trucking. If you're going over the road, some of these mega carriers have training that are designed for you to learn about certain things specifically to trucking you probably won't learn in the short term in local trucking. And I'm gonna give you some examples so you can understand what I'm talking about. So when I got out of trucking school, the first trucking job I had was working for a beer delivery company. And if you guys been following the channel for a while, you already know I talked about that in several videos. I was a beer delivery driver. Well, there were some things that I wasn't taught coming out of trucking school as a new driver. One of those things was hours of service, learning all about hours of service and what that meant, learning about how many hours do you have to work throughout the course of a day? How many hours do you have to drive throughout the course of a day? What does going in violation means as a truck driver, right? All of these different things that I wasn't taught as a local truck driver with this particular company that I went to. We didn't talk about any of those things. You know, when are you required to take a 30-minute break during your shift? All of these things was never talked about or discussed going into local trucking with this particular company that I went with. And a lot of you guys probably had the same experience as a new truck driver. Some of you probably went to trucking companies that you wasn't taught these things. You learned about them over time, self-taught. You taught yourself, you learned about these certain things, but they didn't have training specifically to these things. I had to learn about all these things, you know, later on in my trucking career. I didn't really learn about them until I got with Gordon Food Service. You know, even something as small as hooking and unhooking the truck. I didn't learn about those things until I got with Gordon Food Service. You know, when I worked for this particular beer company, our tractors and trailers were already hooked up when we got in. So I never experienced unhooking or hooking up to a trailer working for this company. Something else I didn't experience working for this company is going through weigh stations. My route never took you through a weigh station, so I had never experienced going through a weigh station and what that's all about. And some of you may say, well, you know, that's really nothing. But, you know, if you pass a weigh station, it's gonna be something. You guys know early on, I had a video that I made where I talked about how I passed by a weigh station one time. And really it was just, you know, not knowing. I seen other trucks pass by weigh stations over time, and I thought it was just okay to pass by weigh stations, bypass, right? This wasn't one of those weigh stations, but passed by it, got a huge fine. And, you know, that came from really not knowing. These are some things that new drivers are green to. A lot of things you don't know because you just wasn't taught these things. Even in trucking school, we didn't talk about weigh stations, going through weigh stations, any of those things. Now, been with Gordon for, you know, 3.5 years, my route, I traveled through 3 different states. So I go through a lot of weigh stations now, and I bypass some, the ones that I'm able to bypass. And so I've experienced those things. I've, had DOT inspections before, and, that's something else that you may not experience as a local truck driver. DOT inspections. Not saying that you want to experience those things. Most of us truck drivers don't want to have a DOT inspection, even if we are, legit and everything is fine. We know everything is fine, paperwork, truck, trailer, all of that. We still don't necessarily want to get pulled over by DOT and have an inspection. But in the event that you do get pulled over for a DOT inspection, at least you know how to handle that situation, and you know the procedure behind it, which I think is good. These are some of the things that I think OTR driving will prepare you for a little bit better than some of these local trucking jobs. You just don't have that specific training with certain things going local that you would probably experience at a mega carrier, some of these over-the-road trucking companies, because they have training specific to these certain things that you learn about in trucking. Not only that, you get to experience driving in different weather conditions, right? If you live in the South like me, I live in Florida, we rarely see snow here. So if you're driving OTR, you're driving across the country, you obviously gonna experience driving in those different weather conditions. And so I think that that's an advantage to trucking as well. Some of you may look at it as disadvantages, but I think at least learning and having that experience, you'll learn something from it. When you work for one of these mega carriers, you got this extensive training. I think that that's definitely going to help you as a truck driver out here. Learning about the electronic laws and even law books. If you're a local truck driver, you guys are working off electronic laws. Some of you guys out there probably never used a law book before and having to manually use it. You know what I mean? And so if something happens to your handheld out there, or, your electronic log, what are you going to do? Right? You got to manually have a log book to start jotting your times down. These are some things that you really learn in OTR as opposed to local. If you go local, and let's just say you want to get into food service and you go work for one of these food service companies, like let's just use Cisco for example, you go apply for that trucking job, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to show you or teach you about the hours of service and using the ELD and things of that nature. To be honest, they're probably going to expect you to already know how to use that or what that's all about. They're not going to spend too much time to really show you about how to use that specific, instrument or device. Again, when you go to work for one of these mega carriers over the road, a lot of them have training designed to teach you about these different things that you may not necessarily learn about in local trucking. Like I said, at least in the short term, you may learn about them over time, but they don't have training that's specifically geared to learn about certain things like that. And I think that that's important. We know about a lot of the disadvantages to going over the road, but what are some advantages in your opinion to going over the road as opposed to going local? All right, let me know in the comments. All right guys, look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Enjoy your Sunday, and until next time, I catch y'all on the next one, man. Y'all take care. Peace.